Okay, so I'm going to do my little intro part here, and then we'll get started. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another Assistive Technology Group Seminar here with BCB. My name is Sam Seavey. Thank you guys for tuning in. Today, we've got a really cool one. We are talking with Matt Philipenko from Microsoft, and he's going to be talking about some of the accessibility options, plugins, add-ins for the Office suite of products, 365, all of those. Before we do, though, as always, if you guys enjoy these kind of videos, be sure to head over to our YouTube channel. We have a lot of more content there available, and you can also reach out to us directly. You can find us on the internet, www.bcbky.org, or you can send us an email, info@bcbky.org, or give us a phone call, 859-259-1834. All right, thank you guys again. Matt, you ready to do this? All right, I'm excited. So Matt, thank you very much for joining us, first of all. Do you want to give a little bit of information about who you are and your position at Microsoft?
Yeah, absolutely. So name's Matt Philipenko. I am a M365 apps ranger. That's more of like a fluffy title. We internally, we're a customer solutions architect. And basically what we do is my team, it's 3 of us in the US, well, 4 in the US, and then 1 in Germany. We support worldwide. And basically what we do is we work with the Microsoft Office customers, anybody using Microsoft Office, or now it's called Microsoft 365 apps. And my job for the past 4 or 5 years now with that has been to go and deploy, which is a fancy word for install, for servicing is a fancy word for updates. So basically install, updates, activation. And then within the past couple years, I've added accessibility to that. My peers don't dabble in the accessibility stuff that often. They're more the experts on the other side, and we all kind of have our own wheelhouse where we're really, really deep technology experts on the different Microsoft apps or Microsoft Office parts. But that's essentially what we do. We work with enterprise customers ranging from 700,000 seats, meaning 700,000 desktops, or as little as like 25,000 desktops. So, I mean, it's a big range, big difference, but yeah, it's super fun. Prior to COVID, I would travel about 200 nights a year for my job. So that's from a job perspective. From an impacted accessibility perspective, I have Star Guards. I'm a Star Guardian. Sam and I always joke about it all the time that we're Star Guardians together. My sister's a Star Guardian. She's a financial planner. So like with my own team, I don't want anybody to ever think that a visual impairment could ever hold you back from doing something. So it's like, it's super important. Just if you have a passion for something, just chase it.
And then using the accessibility that you guys are bringing to us, that helps make it a possibility. Yeah. So today you're going to be talking about some new add-ins that you can get for those.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So today I'm going to jump into a PowerPoint here in a second, but what I want to do is cover, there's a accessibility reminder add-in that we released, and it can be captured. You can pull it down from the Microsoft Store. If you work for a company that manages the tenant or manages your Office installs, they may lock your store. So if you have to, you might have to like email your IT admin and say, hey, I want this accessibility reminder add-in, and they'll add it to the company, like to the actual Microsoft or Windows Store for business is what they'll call it. But primarily, you should just be able to go into the apps, grab this accessibility reminder. The benefit about this accessibility reminder is it allows me as a visually impaired person, I will be collaborating with a bunch of different people in Word and PowerPoint and Excel, and I can drop these modern comments, this accessibility reminder comment that says, hey, make sure that you're creating accessible content because I need it. And it doesn't tell them it's me. It's nice because it's an anonymous comment. So it allows me to kind of poke the bear per se, and say, hey, I need you to make sure this is accessible for me, without coming out and saying, hey, my name's Matt and I'm legally blind, I need you to help me. Like, so it's pretty cool in a way that you can do that. You can also customize them as well. But so I'll jump in. Let me share my screen here.
So it's kind of like the old suggestion box, right? On this that you put in the office, and then so it's anonymous.
Yep. All right, that's good there. Can everybody see that okay?
Yep. We got it.
Perfect. All right, so I'm in Microsoft Office or Microsoft 365 apps. One of the things here, you might see this cursor. I set this up. It's in the Windows accessibility settings. I set that so I know where my cursor's at. Right now I'm on a 43-inch Dell UltraSharp wide monitor. It's condensing down to one monitor. If you're trying to use two, I mean, I'm way more efficient. I took some advice from a bunch of colleagues on getting down to one, and it's been a super game changer. But you'll see up here in the top. So with Microsoft 365 apps, as I go in here, when I go into my account page, you're going to see it's my Microsoft email, my content here. It says your M365 apps for enterprise is my license. You might see it on yours, M365 apps for business, if it's a small business. You might also see something different here if it's a consumer purchase product, if you're like buying a subscription from the Microsoft Store. The important thing here is that you want to be on, I'm on a beta channel of Office internally, but for best practice and kind of for the best features availability, you really want to be on a current channel, or if you work for a big enterprise and they won't go to current because it's too fast. Current channel has multiple releases per month, and they're not predictable. With monthly enterprise channel, it's predictable, it's once a month. So that's one thing I wanted to clarify before we kick off. Like, all of these cool features that we're releasing, I mean, we have a feature backlog that is like thousands of items long, and tons of feature teams are building stuff in different product groups in Word, Excel, PowerPoint, all sorts of different tools. And to take advantage of those, you really need to be on a current, faster channel of Office. So make sure you're either on current channel or monthly enterprise channel. So let me jump back. What I'm going to do is, if I click on Insert on the tab up here, I'm up in the top left-hand corner. If you're following with like Zoom or anything on, I'm not zoomed in right now, but basically up on the top. I also changed my mouse too, so it's a little bit bigger for me. I click on Insert. If I go over to the Add-ins tab, there's a icon that says Get Add-ins. I'm going to click on that one. Then I'm going to type accessibility reminder. I'm going to hit the search box. It's going to show up here, number one. It'll have the shield with the accessibility in it. And mine's already added, but in your case, if you needed to add it, you would just click Add. You would do this in each Office app. Right now I'm in Word. You would do it in Word, Excel, and PowerPoint. So once that's done and installed, what will happen is it will show up here called Accessibility Reminder, and it has like a nice little tab at the top. And then this is where I'm going to zoom in. So now when I'm zoomed in, you'll see it has Add Accessibility Comment, where I can just comment anything. And then the other one is more comments. And in here, I can add a low vision comment, a screen reader comment, or a custom comment. I use magnifier all the time, which I'm using it right now in front of y'all. So mine is almost always low vision. So sometimes I'll do screen reader comments if I'm creating content and I know it's going to be mass consumed. If somebody's working directly with me, I can get by with it if they just maintain. Either one of these are better. There's different links and stuff like that when they get pointed out to how to create content. So I'm going to choose Add Low Vision Comment. I'll zoom back out. What you're going to see is it's going to pop in a comment over here. And now if how do I get rid of these windows? Oh, perfect. All right, so now if I click on this one, you'll see that it calls out Accessibility Reminder, and I can edit this if I want, but it basically gives them options and links to go out and see how to create accessible documents. So it's a nice way to just nudge, just a anonymous nudge of saying, hey, I need, like, make sure this is accessible. Is there any questions on that before I jump into PowerPoint and show some other things?
I do want to mention that we're not seeing your magnification on our end, just so you know.
Oh, wow. Maybe that's a new
That's
Zoom feature.
Yeah, it's not coming through.
Oh,
I thought too. Yeah.
I saved, well, I'm sharing just words, so that's probably why, because I'm not sharing my screen. So I'm sure it's like Microsoft Teams. If I share just the app and I zoom in, it won't show that zoomed.
Gotcha.
Yeah, that's
I can quit and reshare real quick. Is that easier?
Yeah, if it doesn't take too long, it might help, I think.
Let me stop share. Share again. Screen.
You guys have any questions about this particular thing?
No.
Okay.
All right, is that a little better?
Go ahead and zoom in a little bit.
Here we go. Woo.
Nope. Oh yeah, there it goes. There it goes.
Okay. So, all right. So what I'm going to do, I'll walk back through that really quick. So at first I was up here on the, I'm going to zoom in because I can't see it either. So, all right. Insert. Scroll over to the Get Add-ins tab. I'm going to click Get Add-ins. Then I'm coming down to the Office Add-ins page. There's a search box. I'm going to click in the search box. I'm going to type Accessibility Reminder. I'm going to hit search, click on the search box or the search magnifying glass, Accessibility Reminder, a Microsoft Garage project. If I click add, it would add it. I've already added mine, so I'm just going to close this window out and then I'll show you up here at the top. It says Accessibility Reminder up on the tabs along the top, right behind help. When I click on that, if I come over here to the left side, I can add an accessibility comment. More comments is what I usually use, and then I use the low vision comment. I already clicked this one earlier, but what it did was when I come down here and I actually go into the comment, this is what it looks like. It says accessibility reminder. There are accessibility issues in this document to make it hard for people with low vision to contribute equally. Examples, poor text contrast, small text, stuff like that. So, and then learn how, it kicks them out to the accessible docs page, aka.ms links. And then it will also link them out if they want to get the add-in reminder on their own. But you can reply to these comments. There's all sorts of stuff that you can do. But yeah, it's the accessibility reminder there. If you're using it and you're ever like, man, it would be really cool if it did this or that, and you want it to do something else, email me. And the team that owns this, we can submit a thing called a design change request. They're super cool, super open to it. We've even been like in the backlog, we have like closed captioning, like all sorts of things like on PowerPoints, like tips and tricks on, hey, here's how you make sure that your content is set up for deaf and hard of hearing. Like here, like make sure it's done this way, and then you're just gonna knock it out of the park every time you deliver content.
So I have a quick question, if I may.
Mm-hmm.
So these comments are attached to the Word document that you would then save and distribute to other people throughout your organization, I assume.
Correct.
You have this accessibility reminders plugin installed. For those who don't have it installed, do they just see this as a comment?
Yep, it'll just be a comment. And to get rid of it, I can even go up. Let me zoom in. Sorry, I always try to present without zooming in. So there should be a spot in here where I can shut down comments. Show comments. If I click this button, let me zoom out. Boom. See, now they're gone. But it shows you that there's a comment over there. If I don't have show comments turned on, if I go over here and I click on it, now it'll pop it out.
I was mostly just curious if it showed it regardless if they plugin installed or not, because not everybody's going to have that installed, obviously. So
yeah, the only time it might not work is if you're on like in really old build. Like I've talked to a lot of, I did the Foundation Fighting Blindness conference, and there's been people emailing me with some like assistive tech issues with Microsoft stuff, and they're using like Office 2007. And I'm like, that thing's been out of support for years. They've built that, they've built that muscle of like, all right, I know how to use this, and they don't want to move. And I said, I'll help you move. I will give you white glove treatment. We will make sure it's a simple process. But you really got to get out of that 2007, because you're susceptible to so many security hacks when you're that far back.
Cool.
Cool.
All right. I don't think we have any questions here.
Awesome. All right. So next, go ahead.
One more quick question. Sorry. Are there other add-ins similar to this, or is this the only feature that this add-in gives you, or?
So this is the only one for right now. There are tons of accessibility things getting built. Right now, we're getting prepared for this thing at Microsoft called the Hackathon. Once a year, they have a worldwide hackathon where everybody gets to hack projects. In the product group or engineering team where I work, we get it every quarter. So every 3 months, we get to do, it's called Fix, Hack, or Learn. We can either fix code, hack code, or learn something like read books, learn how to do PowerShell, stuff like that. So that's kind of how that'll all work. And from a next steps perspective, like I would look into all sorts of other there's a ton of different add-ins out there, but from our hackathon project, we are working on one, which once we get it to a point where we can beta test it, I'll get it out to Sam, I'll reach out. But we're working on one that a customer could install in their tenant. So basically they go into Microsoft Teams as the admin, they launch this add-in, and what it will do is it will scan their OneDrive and SharePoint directories, and it will look for documents that are failing being scanned by the accessibility checker, which is a built-in app I'm going to show you guys after this. But the beauty behind that is, as an admin of a company, that admin's going to be able to look at that report and say 75% of our documents out of these 10,000 documents are not accessible. So it's going to be a super cool tool to be able to like help people fix inaccessible content inside every organization. So it's going to be it'll be a neat product once we get ready to ship.
That sounds really great. And I am the tenant admin here. So if you want to shoot that over for me for beta testing, I'd be happy to give you tons of feedback on it.
Yeah, 100%. Once we get it going, I've talked to the admin over at the Foundation Fighting Blindness as well, same place. So it's there. I want to make sure that if we light up enough of the content, like we'll get people to where we can make sure all content's accessible. So that's my goal. There's nothing worse when you share content and you turn on a screen reader and you're tabbing through and it goes image, 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 and you're like, are you kidding me? Like, come on, man.
Or blank.
Yeah. Oh, or even worse. Like back in the day, web designers used to use alt text for SEO. So you get to an image and it would go Corvette, Corvette, Mercedes, Corvette, Corvette, Mercedes. And they're like, what is happening? What? And they basically just separated it by comments so SEO could like start sucking it in. So it was like there's been a lot of crazy stuff, but we're trending in the right direction. We're working on getting things changed. For me, empathy is the biggest part. So like what I usually do with myself, especially if anybody's training anybody on this team, turn on the narrator, turn on JAWS, turn on whatever screen reader you're using, and then make sure you have inaccessible content and demo that. And it's horrendous to listen to, and just kind of bring that impact right back to the people that are creating content to say, hey, this is what it's like if you're using a screen reader and it's not accessible. So let me close this one out. Not going to save. I'm going to jump into my PowerPoint here. And then I'm going to, so first thing I want to do, I have to actually drag this thing over to get it out of the way. I'm going to go up to the review tab. I'm going to zoom in on this. Review. It says check accessibility. It's on the accessibility section of the ribbon. If I click on this and I click check accessibility, over here on the right-hand side, it's going to pop out all the accessibility warnings. So right now I have hard to read text. I have 2. Check my reading order. I have 3. Duplicate slide titles. Suggested alternative text. There's 10. So first one up, I'm going to do the alternative, check text. So if I zoom out and I click on this, it's going to bring me right to the box that needs to be replaced. So like, that's got to be pretty bad. I'm sure, Sam, is that pretty rough on you? It's rough on me.
Yeah, your the magnification is being very laggy and jumping around. So it's a couple seconds behind what you're talking about that it shows up. So I'm not sure what. Oh yeah, right there, the blue.
Yeah, the white and the light
terrible.
blue.
Yeah, it's terrible.
Yeah, so that's what it looks like right now. So, and that's what it lit up. It when I clicked on the checker on the right hand side of the screen, it brought me to this box. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to click this and font color. I'm going to change the font color, change it to black from white. And then now you'll see on this right hand side of the screen, the minute I click outside of that, now that text contrast, let me zoom in over here and I won't move it. You'll see that I had 2 before, now I only have 1 left. So the minute I make it accessible, it goes away. So now I'm going to zoom back out and I'm going to go back over here and I'm going to zoom in on this one. But now that's much easier to read with the contrast.
Yeah.
Yep.
But this is only for stuff that we're creating, correct?
Correct. This is, so envision this as something that, like, you're creating content. Let's say you have a business presentation or a customer presentation, you're going somewhere, you're going to present. You have a PowerPoint deck done. All you have to do is go up to review and then check accessibility, and it pops out this right-hand window on the right side, and you just work your way through all of those, making sure that you fix them all, make them all disappear. And then after that, you'll be good to go. The one thing that I wanted to share here on alternative text. So everybody on here is familiar with like what alt text is? We pretty good?
Yeah, we're all accessibility users ourselves.
Sweet.
Here, I think.
Beautiful. Okay. All right. So Microsoft created this thing called automatic alt text right here. It's called automatically generate description for alt text. It's a blessing and a curse because it's cool because people don't have to use it and they don't have to think, but the downside is sometimes it gets it wrong. So I put the automatic alt text for these images in here. So I'm going to zoom in on these so everybody can kind of see them. But this one right here, what it's saying is that this is a pool with a green roof. And I'm sure everybody on here would unanimously agree that this is not a pool with a green roof. And then this next one, it looks like toothpaste or something coming out of a tube. And it says a close-up of a tooth. This one is a school bus, and it says a yellow school bus with a mural of 2 people. So like it's not consistent with what it needs to be. What I want to show you though is like if I click on these images and then I go to the alt text for it, it will actually show you over here. Let me zoom in on this. It shows me a green pool with a stone walkway. So now it kind of changed up even since before it was there. But it says description automatically generated with very low confidence. So the challenge there is that it's automatically creating it, but it's not perfect. I can approve this alt text, or I can mark this thing as decorative. Everybody knows what decorative is. It'll just mark it decorative for the screen reader. But it's just a nice feature to be able to go in and check your documents and make sure that they're in good order. Any questions on the accessibility checker or anything else?
2 real quick ones. I noticed that there's a generate alt text button there.
Yep.
If you clicked on that, would it try again, or does it just?
Yeah. Yep. So it's going to try again here, and when it finished, so now it finished a green pool with a stone walkway. Yeah.
So no difference. Okay, I didn't know if it would take a stab at it, kind of a thing. And then where do I find this? Is this an add-on that has to be installed as well, or?
Nope. This is baked into Office 2016 and up. So if you go to the review tab in PowerPoint, it's going to be under check accessibility. It'll be under the accessibility tab. So I'll go to, let me zoom in here really quick. I'll make it slow so I can see it all. So I click on review. slide to the left, and it says check accessibility.
Okay, thank you. That's all I had.
Yeah, super cool stuff. I mean, there's this accessibility checker's been really neat. I've got one more thing I could show everybody real quick. That's a pretty cool hack, or not a hack, it's a feature, but I use it all the time.
All right.
Okay, so that was the accessibility checker. I'm closing PowerPoint. I'm going into Microsoft Word or Microsoft Edge. So I'm on an earlier version of Edge. And what you're going to see, I'm going to zoom in at the top here. With my Edge, I have these new options. I can use this. I tap this one, it'll create a favorite. This one uses the Immersive Reader. So I'm going to demo that in here a second. And then this one also uses Read Aloud, which will read aloud inside the tool. The cool thing about Read Aloud, if you haven't used it yet, Read Aloud has a ton of different voices and it's really smooth. And you can change it to like I have my Siri on my phone is set up to a British female, so I feel like James Bond. And the other one on here, like whenever I have to do large amounts of reading for work, I'll change it between all sorts of different accents just to have a different tone in my ear. Because I mean, if you hear that normal narrator voice of like rah, 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 like super robotic, oh man, there's nothing worse than that voice. So these are really, really sweet. So what I'm going to do here, let me click on this. I'm going to click on Immersive Reader up here at the top. And what you're going to see is before I clicked on it, you saw all that. I'm going to click back out. So do you see the table of contents here on the left?
Not yet. It's
then
it's slow. Hold on a second. Still not up yet. Okay, there we go.
Okay.
Table of contents over here on the left. Yeah.
Yeah. So all of this is on the left. And then over here by our icons that are on the screen, you have like links across the top. You have links, but my main content is right here in the middle where my mouse is moving in a big circle. That's what I really want to consume. So when I go up here and I click on Immersive Reader, watch what happens. So now I'll wait for it to catch up. Sam, let me know when it's done.
Okay. Almost there. Okay, there we go.
So now it caught up, but you'll see it says overview of the Office deployment tool. Like it's nice and crisp, easy to read. If like me, I like white on black, but my sister, Marissa, doesn't. She likes black on white, so she likes this. So, but that is really hard on my eyes. Like I can't do that one. But you can pick all sorts of different ones in this submenu. So now that is there though, now what I will do up here on the bar, I'm going to click Read Aloud.
Overview of the Office Deployment Tool. The Office Deployment Tool, ODT, is a command line tool that you can use to download and deploy Microsoft 365 apps to your client.
So could you guys hear that? I selected the audio to go through.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
it's good.
Yeah. So what it's cool is it uses a different voice in the background. I can change those voices. And it basically diffuses the page and highlights each word. I can make that customized. I can get rid of all that extra stuff on there if I need to. One other really cool thing, my youngest son has dyslexia. Not really cool, but cool for him and from an assistive technology perspective. If I click on grammar tools and he's learning nouns, watch what happens when I choose noun. I'll give it a minute to sync up on your end. It basically turns all the nouns this like purple color.
Yeah, I don't know if it's done it yet or not.
I can't really see
did it do it?
purple.
Yeah, I see it.
Yeah.
It's not lagging as bad for me,
Oh,
Okay.
strangely.
yeah.
Yeah, I zoomed in with the zoom tool as well, but like
Yeah,
you can
yep.
see the
Yeah,
differences on that color. All of the nouns now are purple. Maybe that's not purple. My wife tells me I'm colorblind, so it might not be purple.
Same here.
Yeah. But yeah, so I mean, they're just really, really neat features. This other one, if I turn off the nouns and I go to syllables, now if I zoom in on deployment, it'll say deployment. It breaks up all of the syllables in the word, puts a dot in between.
Well, that's interesting.
Yeah.
I have a couple dyslexic kids.
Yeah, so it's phenomenal.
I myself, am
Phenomenal
dyslexic.
That's cool.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many different advancements in the technology. I mean, there's so much more in here. If you come in here and play with these, the only thing that you got to do from an IT management side is you need to be on the earlier versions of Microsoft Edge. You can't be on like the public releases. You got to be on like the Canary builds and stuff like that. So when you're looking at it, if somebody wants these, they have to basically be on faster builds.
What does that mean?
What about just the end user, just a normal consumer? They just
It'll
need to be-
make its way. It'll make its way there, but it's not there yet.
Okay.
Is this in the beta builds? Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, beta builds. There's a bunch of beta builds for Edge.
Do
Like
you have to be in the
there-
beta build, or do you have to be in the beta channel or the dev channel for this one? Because they've separated those two channels out. They have different stuff in them now.
in the beta channel will do it for you. The dev channel is way too fast.
Over my head. Yeah, that's what I'm like. Okay.
Well, we just got approval to get a bunch of new computers and stuff here, so I'm sure Richard will be looking into all of this stuff.
Nice.
Is this
This is
only
awesome.
available in Windows 11 builds of Edge, or is this available on Windows 10?
Windows 10 as well. Windows 11 though has a ton of new contrast themes and other improvements that are just, I mean, it's the most accessible version of Windows that we've ever built. There's a ton of YouTubes out there from the different Microsoft Enable groups. There's like documents and tech community posts, all sorts of stuff that highlight all these different features. Windows H, we have dictation now, which works really cool. You can say start menu, or you can say launch Microsoft Outlook, and it launches Microsoft Outlook.
Ever since you guys bought up Nuance.
Yep.
Oh,
Strategic moves. That's
yes,
what all
it
those
was.
are about. Yeah.
I can recommend some videos if you guys want.
Yeah. So I mean, Sam's like that's your wheelhouse. So, like if there's ever any of that, like, but it's an amazing operating system. I've been running it for a while. And yeah, I mean, these are just a few of the tools that you can use. So I mean, there's so much more than this. But I would just recommend to use that. I have my magnifier turned on almost all the time. I set my magnifier up. So if you've been wondering how I zoom it in, if you go to Microsoft Mouse and Keyboard, I install this software.
We're a big fan of programmable mice around here.
Yep. So I'm going to zoom in so everybody can see. So this is my mouse that's sitting on my desk. I have a button on the left side and I have a button on the right side. And if I scroll down here a minute and keep your eyes down here, looking at the bottom right or bottom right. If I hover over this left side button, you'll see it lights up a gray box around that left side button. And in blue text, it's bad contrast, but it says magnify. That means this button is programmed to the magnifier.exe application to launch magnifier. My right side button, if I hover over that little guy, it's right side button, browser back. So what that does is, like, if I'm inside File Explorer and I'm like 4 or 5 levels deep into a folder, when I click the right side button, it bounces, it goes back, just like you hit the back arrow in the browser. It does that for you, so it's you're a lot faster. With the zooming, like if I'm over here and I'm looking at this and I want to figure out, like right now it's zoomed in and I don't have bearings on where this is at on my machine. I just tap this button and I zoom out. Now I'm full screen. But now if I come up here onto the top and I want to, earlier when I was talking about Immersive Reader and I want to show you what that is, all I do is I tap on my zoom tool. It follows my mouse and now I'm back up here and now I can zoom in and I can see all this. But now I know I'm in the top right corner of my screen. But if I need to get back to like a whole view, I just tap the button again and I zoom back out.
So a quick question, if I may, what do you know, or is there a dedicated shortcut key for Immersive Reader?
I don't know if there's one yet. Let me hover over. They usually do pretty good at hiding those in there. It looks like F9. Exit Immersive Reader is And then if I get back in here and to enter, yeah, so it's F9, if you can see that when I
I got
zoomed
it.
in.
Got it.
Yep.
Awesome. There's something to keep in mind when it rolls out to the public, so I can let my screen reader people know. How does it work within screen readers? Does it strip out, like, you can see like that it's stripping out the stuff on the side visually. Does it do that for the screen readers as well, or does
No, so they're completely separate things, and we've had a lot of DCRs around that, because read aloud. We have people that are using read aloud inside emails when an email's really long, and if somebody doesn't put if somebody has alt text on their image in an email, the reader won't read it because the reader's not designed to read the alt text. It was designed to read text. So it's like if somebody's using JAWS, they're like the workflow is they're supposed to be using JAWS, NVDA, Windows Narrator, like solely using that. I did update mine with the natural voices. So let me demo that really quick while we're on here. If I do Control Windows Enter.
Overview of the Office Deployment Tool. Deploy Office, Microsoft Docs, and 5 more pages. Work Microsoft Edge beta window. Microsoft Edge. Overview of the Office Deployment Tool. Deploy Office. If you're not an enterprise administrator and are looking to install Office in your home, exiting narrator.
So pretty cool sound, right?
Yeah, it's the new ones.
Yep.
When are they
Yeah, so
coming up, Matt?
Should be pretty soon. They're really close. I mean, this one, I've had these for like at least a month and a half, 2 months. So they should be getting really close to releasing. I can try to get dates on that and get back to you.
I just
on
use
the-
read aloud.
Yeah, but this is narrator. Narrator forever has had the same like 3 voices, and they just won't update the voices for some reason forever.
No,
Took them.
and they're terrible. They sound terrible.
having more variety is always appreciated, that's for sure. Couple of quick questions. Are there any special things coming down the pike regarding, I thought you'd mentioned PDF stuff earlier, and then I also wanted to ask, do you know of anything that's coming down the pike to help make Excel documents more accessible?
Yeah, so there's a accessibility ribbon coming down for Excel. There's an accessibility ribbon for PowerPoint as well. So if I get into PowerPoint, a clean doc here. So there's these ribbons. So if you look online, you'll see I'll even get them and I'll reply to Sam's email with these tips on here. But if I go up to where is it at? I think I even have it saved. So I'll just show you the one I have saved here. Give me 1 second. Zooming
I'm
in.
interested in Excel in particular because I know some people who are struggling with Excel, and I'm just trying to find solutions for them.
Yeah, so I have a bunch of docs here. Like, so on this one, make your content accessible to everyone. I'm going to share this link. This one is a deep link into everything. So basically alt text, creating accessible templates, creating accessible PDFs. There's training videos on all of this. Like, this is like a master link to a bunch of stuff. This other one is using a screen reader to work with PDFs in the Office app. Walks you through how to use those. This other one are Power Toys. There's some new mouse utilities under Power Toys. Another one I'll share is accessibility tools for vision. Setting up windows for your vision. It walks you through like customizing the mouse pointer, the text cursor, and then listening instead of working, like how to navigate through narrator using Immersive Reader. We just worked with that in a second ago. Keyboard commands.
Yeah.
Or is this something that's coming out?
No, a lot of this is already.
Yeah, this is already released, all of this. So it's basically, I'll get everybody these links and you can go through and you'll have access to all these links to be able to use it, to share it. And if there's other times too, like any more of these where we can jump in, there's a gentleman, Peter Wu from PowerPoint. I can get like Peter from PowerPoint, and I can get Karina works for Outlook. She would be willing to come in and help with Outlook. So there's a bunch of really neat options. So like if I go in, let me show you one thing here really quick.
I know some people are struggling with search with Outlook also. Yeah, I would love that. If you could get together and have us do that as well, that would be great.
Yeah. So like if I'm in an email right now, and then I'm going to email like, usually when you email a distribution group, it'll hit OPP Rangers. This is our Ranger alias. So I'm going to drop this in there, and then I'm going to grab Snagit. I'll give it a second here to kick open. Come on. There it goes. Okay, so I'm going to grab Snagit. I'm going to grab a screenshot of this top bar. I'm going to hit the picture, capture that screenshot. Close that out. And then now watch this. So the minute I enter this, I'm going to say hello, comma, enter a few lines, drop the screenshot. And basically what will happen, and then if I do add myself on here. So see when I added myself, what it did here at the top, and for you might not be able to see it because I can't for sure, but once I added myself to the to line, it said we've found some ways to make and manage your review accessibility. So basically this is called the accessibility prompt, but the reason why it did this is because I entered an image and I don't have alt text on this image, and these are called mail tips inside Outlook. And the way I can do that is if I click on File, and then I use Options. It opens the File Options window right here. Let me get over there. There we go. So I'm on the File Options, Outlook Options. I click on Accessibility. And then it basically allows me to select these. Show me accessibility warnings when at least one recipient is outside my organization, composing a message to a large audience, using a dark background. At least one recipient prefers accessible content. So like there's all of these different options in here now. Like in O365, if you go to portal.office.com and you go to the accessibility settings, you can check a box in there that says I prefer accessible content. So this option right here will get lit up in Outlook.
As a tenant manager, can I set that as say part of their profile settings or whatever?
Yep. Yeah. You and I, if you want to email me separately, what I'd like to do is I'll log into the tenant with you. We have a thing called the Office Cloud Policy Service that we released a few years back. And what that does is it allows you to set group policies for the user. So no matter where the users go, they get policy. So if they go to a hotel lobby machine and sign in with their identity from your tenant, it automatically drops policies on that box.
That's what I meant. I just forgot what you guys called it, group policy editor.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, I can help with that. Cool. Well, I don't know how much time we had, but I'm guessing we're close.
Yeah, we got about 10 minutes. Any other questions? Carol, do you have any questions? Yeah. That's all right. We might have to watch it again to kind of recap.
Are there anything else that you can share with us? And are there any tips you would give us for Excel? Like I said, I've got somebody who's really struggling with Excel. I'm trying to find solutions for them.
Yeah, if you email me, I can start looping in people on that to help. Okay,
great. Thank you.
And then and another thing, what I would do is always make sure you're using there's a website. It's called edad@microsoft.com. If you have an M365 tenant and you have the business tenant, you can reach. Yeah, so you can email edad@microsoft.com with your question or concern.
Okay. Cool.
If you have end users, not end users, like consumers, like people that are just like patrons that are coming in and they need help, they can use, everybody's heard of the Be My Eyes app?
Yeah.
Mhm.
So
Yeah,
there's,
of course.
Be My Eyes has an option in there where they can get Microsoft support, and it's called the Disability Answer Desk, or DAD. And it's support engineers that are trained on accessibility, and they support consumers, and it's free.
Awesome.
Yeah, so it's an amazing tool. The EDAD is even better, because with EDAD, if you're part of a business or a corporation, it's better to use EDAD. It's just we had it split out because we want to put like consumers and end users in one bucket and then enterprises in the other, because if we can help an enterprise that has 100,000 seats solve something, it's a big bang, easy hit. You get that one, you solve it. And then the disability answer desk team is going to be supporting the individual users.
Now some of the customer support lines are paid for services though. Is that a paid for service?
Nope. Be My Eyes is free. So it's,
I was thinking of EDAD.
oh, EDAD, no, nope.
Yeah.
Nope, not at all.
Do you all offer that for like state governments? Because our Office of Vocational Rehabilitation really
Yep.
needs help with making things accessible.
Yes. Yep. And if they can't, bring me in. Like Sam will tell you, I'm like a what, I don't even know. Everybody internally, they call me a bulldog, because I don't really listen. If somebody's challenged with accessibility stuff, I will kick down doors. I don't care. Nothing infuriates me more than seeing somebody struggle and technology can solve it. And if I have the key, I mean, you better believe it, I'm going to give them the key.
I greatly appreciate that. I just got documents yesterday from our Division of Blind Services, state government, that were not accessible. So they certainly need help because their clients are all people with vision impairment.
Yeah. Yep. 100%. I mean, I've helped a bunch of different organizations that support and serve low vision and blind. And I've helped them, done the similar training, like, hey, here's accessibility checker. Here's the accessibility reminder. Here's how to make sure your content's going to be accessible. Start using it and build this muscle. And I mean, it's gonna change eventually. Like when I said earlier in the call, we have to start with empathy. Like if people don't know on their own how they're impacting, it's hard. So I'm throwing some links in the chat here really quick before we finish up.
Okay. And if you can email those to me too, Matt.
Yep,
I'll
will
make
do for sure.
People get them if they need them.
Well, that might be easier than getting them out of the chat. So what I'll do, I'm just going to reply to your email, Sam.
Yeah.
And I'll include all the links. Feel free to like we put my email on your YouTube channel. So it's like, who cares? Like send everybody my email. I don't care. Like
and once
If you
again,
would go ahead and put it in the chat though, because if people watch this later, will they be able to see the chat?
Well, I was going to say, with Matt's permission, we can put all this information in the video description as well.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah, I'm happy to do that.
Yep. Yes. Yep. 100%. Anything I can do.
You know me.
Perfect.
Better in the dark.
Anybody have any questions before we let Matt go? We got to wrap up here. It was really informative.
Yes, thank you.
You're welcome.
I want to share my own little story with the accessibility checker. I talked about this with Matt last time we spoke, but I was just randomly, I'd actually seen it here and there on documents before, but then recently, a couple of months ago, I was sending out one of my invoices that I send out to my clients for work and getting ready to save it as a PDF to send it out to somebody. And a little thing popped up, said, whoa, wait a minute, this image here doesn't have any alt text. And I was like, oh man, it's like, I really need to fix that. I should be practicing what I preach. And so thank you, accessibility checker. I appreciate it.
Yep. That's it. It's amazing. I mean, it doesn't catch everything. We still got work to do, but it catches enough to where we're not going to be leaving people out when they need to work. So yeah, it's
Awesome.
I appreciate it. Thank you all for letting me come. And if there's ever any questions, I'll get that email out to you shortly. If anybody needs any help with anything, I mean, I'm always willing to jump in, especially if it's accessibility related. We helped a guy after a conference 2 weeks ago create a PowerPoint for a job interview, and then he got the job. And he was like, "Thank you guys so much." And I was like, "Dude, it's like we have to collaborate. We have to like stick together, because it's not all technology is easily accessible. Assistive technology is hard to learn. I mean, Sam, you know that best, because it's like there's so many things out there. So it's like we have to do it together and make it happen.
Right. Yeah. Awesome. Well,
Cool.
thank you so much, Matt.
Thank
You bet.
you.
Awesome.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
everybody. See ya.
Bye.
Thanks, guys. And thanks for watching, everybody. And if you're watching this in the future, once again, check us out on YouTube. And you can find us www.bcbky.org. All the information you'll need, you can find there. Thanks. Okay, let me stop the recording.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah. Well, it was informative.
It's not stopping.